So welcome back to step 3. Hopefully by now you've got a fully fledged impact plan. You've got a clear idea of where you're going to go and exactly how you're going to get there. Chances are you might also be feeling a little bit intimidated by this. You're thinking, that's a lot of work. How am I going to actually find time to do all of this stuff? That's why step 3 is about cutting back all the things that might be distracting you from achieving your impact. Someone said lack of time equals lack of priorities. The challenge is how important really is it to you to make this difference, to have an impact? And that's why it is that in that original step we were thinking about what is it that is fundamentally motivating you to have an impact. And it's at this point that you need to engage at that level again and remember, no, this is why it's really important to me. Because every day there is never enough time, and every day it's a trade-off between what do I do and what do I not do. So how do we make sure that we have got time for impact? And how can we actually do this and not just create more work for ourselves, but actually get a bit of a better work-life balance? Well, that's what we're going to try and do today. And what I'm going to ask you to do at the end of this might sound scary at this point, but I'm going to ask you to choose one significant thing that you're doing in your life and ideally cut it out altogether. If not cut it out, then substantially contract the amount of time that you are spending on that particular task. Now, there's 2 principles that I've come across recently that have really helped me get my head around this. One of them is called Parkinson's Law, which simply states that a task will expand to fill the time that you give it. So if you give a task a week, then you'll spend a week doing that task and probably faffing around and getting a bit confused and lost in the meantime. If you give it a day, somehow, by hook or by crook, you'll get it done in a day. And the strange thing is that if you actually give yourself a slightly constrained deadline, maybe it's an artificial deadline, but you say, no, I am only going to spend this amount of time on that task, you finish it in substantially less time, and you do it to just as good a standard, if not actually better sometimes. And the reason I believe for that is that by having that really focused and concise time on that task, actually you're taking away all the distractions. You're not multitasking and doing one thing and then coming back to it and coming back to it again. You're just 100% focusing on getting that job done, and that focus is what actually enables you to do something far more effectively in less time. The second of these principles is the Pareto principle, which suggests that 80% of the outcomes from your work that you really value actually come from 20% of your work day. So have a little think about this, because it is uncanny how true this is for most people. Have an analysis of just what you're spending time on each day. And have a look at then the outcomes of that. How much time did you spend answering emails, chatting randomly, kind of looking at a website, reading vaguely because you need to read some literature with that particular purpose? And you'll find that 80% of the stuff actually is not delivering you the impact that you want. So work out what is that 20% of time that you're spending that is really delivering the impact. And now let's try and focus on that. If you can cut out even half of that 80% of wasted time, then you've not only got a whole lot of extra time that you can use to generate impact, you're actually saving yourself time. Ever since I was a PhD student, I made a rule that I was never going to work weekends, and I was never going to work evenings, at least when I wasn't traveling or my wife wasn't traveling. I'm a professor now, and I have maintained that principle all the way through. And that means that I set myself some pretty crazy deadlines. Other people are saying that they've got all weekend to do it. Great, I haven't. I'm finishing this on Friday night, and if it's not done by Friday night, it's not happening. The end result is Monday morning, I'm fresh, I'm motivated, I'm inspired, and actually I got the job done fairly well. I'm happy with it. So Moving on to the task for this session, I want you to make a list of everything you did in your work day yesterday, from the moment that you started work. You can start earlier if you want. I quite often listen to empowering audio tapes on my way to work, etc. But from the day, from the start of your day, if yesterday wasn't a typical work day, go back to whatever was the last kind of typical work day. And I want you to try, if you can, to think, how long did I spend on that task? And include the menial kind of non-work task as well. If it happened during 9 to 5 or whenever you were working, stick them all in there and work out how long you spent doing all those things. And I want you to commit today, right now, to finding one of those things on that list that took up quite a substantial amount of time and either cutting it out completely from your day tomorrow or radically contracting it. If you can do that, I promise you, you will be more productive, and all those people that you think that you're going to let down, that whole kind of end of the world disaster, you're thinking, well, if I don't do that, then who knows what will happen? It won't happen. And if it does, you probably recover it, you can probably make up for it later. Just try it, trust me. This will make an enormous difference to you, not only in terms of making time to have the impact that you want, but in terms of just getting a life. Academics aren't great at this, it has to be said, and I believe that together we can actually change the way that we work as academics so that we are being impactful and inspired day to day.